Welcome back. Yesterday we talked about Proposal 2023-7, which means today we need to review Proposal 2023-8. First, a little refresher on process. Remember that Proposal 8 was one of the proposals covered in Resolution 1. As you saw yesterday, you'll again see a link below this video that will take you to a document comparing Proposals 7 and 8 both to each other and to the current legislation. As a reminder, if Resolution 1 is adopted, then when we get to Proposals 7 and 8 on the convention floor on Saturday, we will first talk about them in comparison to one another. We'll then take a vote on Proposal 7 versus Proposal 8, and whichever of the two comes out on top of that first vote will be the first of the two voted on in comparison to the current legislation. If that first proposal is adopted, we will not vote on the other. If it is not adopted, we will then move on to vote on the other proposal in comparison to the current legislation. Okay, on to the nuts and bolts of Proposal 8. This proposal also addresses the size, composition, and nomination process for the President and Management Councils and is sponsored by the President's Council. Under Proposal 8, the President's Council would have 20 total members, 18 presidents or chancellors, and 2 national SAC representatives. Similar to Proposal 7, every multi-sport conference would be represented on either the President's or Management Council, but under this proposal, the President's Council would have 20 members and the Management Council would be a bit larger to ensure that the remaining conferences have representation on the Management Council. Under Proposal 8, it's also important to note that the nomination process would stay the same as under current legislation, meaning the President's Council nominees would be selected by a President's Council subcommittee, then with approval by the full council. Proposal 8 would also slightly amend the composition criteria of both councils, and you can see the details of those composition criteria in the document below. And then, because there isn't yet enough confusing parliamentary procedure for us to deal with, there's also a proposed amendment to Proposal 8. So, if Proposal 8 prevails in the head-to-head vote against Proposal 7 and is voted on first, or if Proposal 7 prevails in the head-to-head and then fails in comparison to current legislation, we will move on to a vote on Proposal 8. But before we vote on the parent proposal, we will vote on the amendment, Proposal 2023-8-1. So under the original proposal, the SAC representative on each of the two councils would have served as the official conference slot for their conference. The amendment then says that the SAC representative would not fill their official conference slot. So if you believe that the SAC representatives should represent only the SAC perspective and should not serve as the official conference representative, you would vote in favor of Amendment 2023-8-1. If the amendment is adopted, we will then vote on Proposal 8 as amended, meaning with the understanding that the SAC representatives will not fill a conference position. If the amendment is defeated, we would then vote on Proposal 8 as originally proposed, meaning with the understanding that SAC representatives do count as their official conference representative, and that conference could not have another representative on that council. But again, keep in mind, we only get to that vote on the amendment if one of two things happen. One, Proposal 8 wins the head-to-head battle against Proposal 7 and is the first to be voted on. Or two, if Proposal 7 does win the head-to-head battle and is then defeated in comparison to status quo, we would then move on to Proposal 8, starting first with the amendment. Confused yet?